Welcome to the tribe. Today's episode wasn't planned. My guest had to cancel last minute. But instead of skipping a week, I saw an opportunity and came up with an idea that's been on my mind for a while. The Pareto Principle in youth sports parenting. We all know the 80-20 rule, where 20% of our efforts create 80% of the results. But what if we take it further? What's the Pareto of the Pareto? The 4% of the actions that drive 64% of the outcomes. In other words, what's the shortcut of the shortcut for raising successful, resilient, and well-balanced young athletes? That's what we are unpacking today. Well, the story today behind our episode is that I have a guest that I have to record the interview yesterday, but she was unhealthy. She had a health issue and she couldn't attend. So I had two options: to skip the episode or to record one episode myself. So I say, okay, let's take the hand that is driven to me and create an episode with something that is important. What are the few things that make the difference in youth sports parenting? Because we have so many pieces of advice, too many information out there, and there are a couple of things that move the needle. So today we are talking about those little things. And regarding podcasting, the little thing that moves the needle, at least for me, is to create the script. Because if I create the script, I know that I know the guest. I have an intro, I have a first question, I have a structure, I have a plot, and I create a character of the guest. I have a last question, so I have all packed. But today, the script wasn't enough because I didn't have a guest. So I have to create a new script for today's content. And today's script is about the 4 things that is a game changer in youth sports parenting. There are many other things. If you want to get the whole blueprint, you can access my course, Parentshift course, at my website. There are 25 videos. Each video has one topic and one task to perform, and at the end of the course there's a meditation to slow down. But today I'm gonna talk about the 4 things that are game changers. So let's dive into the first one. And the first one is about talking less and listen more. I've been a sports parent and I talk too much, and the problem was that my kids were very obedient and they made all the mistakes you can imagine. So, as you know, parents know exactly what their kids had to do or what they don't have to do, and we are used to give them instructions all the time and they follow it to the letter. But I realized after 15, 20 years of parenting that we have to listen more to them, because there's a saying that kids are always right, and I'm a true believer of that. But when I mean to listen, I mean not just to listen to their words, I mean to listen to the silence, to listen to what's not being said, to listen to their mood. And if we carefully listen to them, we're going to take better decisions. And I have a task or a game that you can practice that is going to be very helpful. Let's say that you want to say something to your son or daughter, and you have something in your mind, and it's you're getting stressed because you want to throw it on your kids. That's what happened to every information that we have in our mind. So before speaking to them, what we can do is pause for 5 seconds and then make a decision. if it's really important or not to deliver that information. If we believe that it's important, what we have to do is to pause for another 5 seconds. And with that double filter, all the things that you will deliver to your kids will be positive. That's the first topic. Second topic is to be successful. To be successful means, because we all want our kids to be successful. We want them to thrive, to be their best in their team, to earn trophies. And we try to deliver all the information we can for them to be the best of the best. And the best way we can, not let's say assure, but we can do our best for them is to be successful ourselves. Yeah, it's counterintuitive because we are always delivering information to them to get better. And instead of doing that, instead of the focus be on your kid, the focus must be on yourself. And by being successful, I mean you don't have to earn a large amount of money. You don't have to be on the news. You don't have to be the top of your class. Being successful means that you keep your promises. Being successful means that you do what you say you're gonna do. There's a book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, and he talks about being successful is when you do every action that you perform every day in a successful way. And to do it in a successful way is to be 100% in the task and to do every day what you have to do that day. You don't have to do that day what you have to do tomorrow. No, you don't have to rush. You have certain activities to perform such a day, and if you perform that in a successful way, you are already successful. So you don't need to be or to rock it in any area. Just it's more simple than you believe. And I can share a story about being successful, or a story I have with my kids. As a former tennis player and former athletes, it happens that when they retire, they quit moving their body and they quit playing sports, and you see them aging, you see them earning weight, you see them getting obese and fat. And that didn't happen to me, but I quit playing tennis, or at least I play no more than once a week. And I lose my interest of moving my body because I thought that I've done enough in my career. And that happened to many athletes. And there was a turning point in me. After lockdown, we were 6 months without clubs, and I didn't move my body. I didn't play tennis. And the day the clubs opened, I went to play tennis with a friend. And after that hit, we rallied for an hour. The feeling and the sensation about the sweat, about the movement was amazing. And I started moving my body, and I started lifting weights, and my body started to transform, and my kids noticed that transformation. And my father has a funny saying that our lineage has thin arms, and I had a motivation now to break that lineage. I want better arms, and if I want better arms, I have to work out, I have to lift weights, I have to perform biceps, I have to perform triceps, I have to perform arms. And I changed the heritage. I changed the way my arms were, and my kids noticed that, and they say, "Oh, are you getting bigger, Dad?" And for me, that is being successful. And I want to share that story because it's an easy story that you can relate with. Because we are all waiting our kids to succeed. All the families behind the son or daughter that plays sport to excel, to become the number one. And we have to become the number one for them to copy our model, but because you know why? They are already copying your model, your today's model. So be aware of what are you giving to them, the image you're giving to them, your body language. They are watching all the time. So let's shift to the third topic. And the third topic is an important one that I was obsessed when I was a young parent, is to choose the right coach. I was obsessed with my kids to choose the right coach in tennis. First, because I played the game, and I can't say that I know almost everything, but I know when a coach knows the topic and when a coach doesn't know the topic. And I wanted to be a good one because I didn't want to get involved in my kids' sports. Unfortunately, I have good options, bad options, and many times I get involved in them and I make a huge mistake regarding that. And there's an interesting story regarding the right coach. But first, I want to share a quote that from John Wooden, the legendary coach of the UCLA. He says that a good coach can change a game, but a great coach can change a life. So the coach that is with your son or daughter will spend a lot of time with them. So they have to create values, create habits, deliver the technique, and all the things that are important for a player. And that's an interesting story regarding a coach with Guga Curtin. Perhaps you don't know, but he was an amazing tennis player, number one in the world, 3 times Grand Slam winner. He is from Brazil. And when he was 13 years old, his mother delivered him to a club, and she chose a coach named Larry Passos, and he was like a father for him. He was his coach and kind of his father. And he started being successful. And when you are successful in tennis, you start traveling a lot. And when they start traveling, Larry Passos' wife started complaining about all the weeks that they were out of Brazil. And when Guga was 17 years old, he was playing the pros, minor tournaments in the pros, the challengers, $100,000, $125,000. He was in Colombia, and Larry Passos' wife called him, and she said, "Hey Larry, this can't go on like this. You have to choose, or it's Guga or it's me." And Larry answered, "Okay, I'll stay with Guga." And what do I want to mean with this story? You need a coach that believes in your kid. You don't need a coach that is going to make him number one, but that he sees something in your son or daughter that no one can see, and that he or she can develop your kid in a different way like other one. And that's a game changer for me. And Larry Passos was the only coach in Guga's career, from 13 to retire. And it's very difficult for a tennis player to have just one coach and to be successful. And Guga Curtin was one of the cases. And Larry's story is a story about believing in a kid that can make a difference in the world. And I encourage you to search that person that believes in your kid, that can make a difference, and that he can make a difference in your kid. Well, we have the final one, the number 4. And number 4 is about reducing the external noise. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the environment in youth sports is very noisy. Every parent has their theory. Every parent knows exactly what their kid have to do or don't have to do, or to select the academy, the training camp that is best for their kid. So many people follow the trend. And the worst thing that you can do is to follow the trend. Why? Because you have to follow what you think is the best for your kid. You have to follow the things that your kid tells you that he wants to do. And also you have to follow certain advisors, certain coaches, certain psychologists. Not every parent knows exactly what is important. And I have an interesting story to share, because when I was with my kids in tennis, my elder son was 13 years old. He was very successful in under 10 in his country, and he played a couple of tournaments in the US, Orange Bowl and Eddie Herr, and he was pretty successful, making quarters and fourth round. And we thought back then that we have one of a kind, and we start creating some pressure on him. It wasn't just me, it was me, my parents, grandparents. And at 13 years old, we decided to homeschool him. And he used to go to a school where we live in a condo, that was inside a condo. And we shifted to homeschooling so he can train more. And it was a big mistake. But as I said in my previous topics, I follow more the trend than my inner thoughts. But the truth is that he homeschooled, and a week after I took the decision, another parent that had a kid that had 15 years old, because I did that, he homeschooled his kid. It was a no-brainer for him. If I did something, he had to replicate it. And he replicated the mistake. And you know why? You know something? My kid, when he was 15 years old, he quit tennis. Not just he quit tennis, but he said, I want to go to my older school because I want to be among my friends. And I was lucky that he had the courage, enough courage to face all the family, quit tennis, and speak up by himself. And that's an interesting story that I wanted to share, because sometimes in this environment, every parent knows what to do, what not to do, and they raise their voice. And perhaps we follow people that they don't know very in an accurate way what to do and how to behave. So we have to be very precise in the people we listen, because you can make a big damage to your kid. My kid was 1 year homeschooling, and if he keep it that way, he will have a degree with less category that he has right now. So, summarizing, the 4 actions. First, speak less and listen more. Second, be successful. Be you, the one who make the effort, not your kid. Your kid will see you and he model you. Third, choose the right coach wisely. And third, silence the external noise. You know, to do this, you don't have to wait to tomorrow. You don't have to wait to next week. You can start today. Parenting is a skill. And I always say it's an underrated skill, because no one talk about parents. No one talk about the importance of being a good parent is in sports. We are all very aware of the coach, the physical trainer, the psychologist, but you know something? You spend a lot of time with your kid, and he's watching everything that you do and you say. So you are the first coach for them, and you have a huge responsibility because you have one choice. And I want to share something that is very important. We have to know that every day we all start from scratch with our kids, you and me. No matter how good or how wrong you were the day before, every day is a new opportunity. Every day you can do it better. And it's not necessary to experience pain to change, because we can change in two ways. We can change through pain or through constant effort. I change through pain. I already told you that my elder kid quit tennis at 15 years old. And I didn't have back then a kid that quit tennis. I have a son that hated me. And in that moment I realized that my parenting model collapsed, that I was using my father's model and it no longer worked anymore. So I have to change it and I have to start listening to him. I had almost 2 months without any word exchange with him. 6 months where the dinners were impossible, but I realized that I had to change because I experienced the pain. Perhaps this situation isn't what you're experiencing right now. You are not feeling pain, but perhaps he or she is in pain and you can't figure it out. So you're not changing your behaviors because you are not aware of their pain. So, as I said, you can change in two ways. Through pain, as I did, or through constant effort, what I am delivering to you right now. These are the 4 major skills that you have to develop. First, speak less, listen more, be successful, choose the right coach, and silence the external noise. If you want the full blueprint, you can check my course at my website, Parent Shift, where you have 3 to 5 videos, 1 topic per video, and 1 task in each topic. And at the end of the course, you have a meditation. But with what I unpacked today, you can start working right now and improve your relationship with your son or daughter, their performance, your relationship with your spouse, and all you can imagine regarding youth sports parenting. Thank you and see you in the next episode.